Hello, my little ribbons! This is Ashuribon, and welcome aboard to my first episode of Speedpaint and Chill, where I talk about anything on my mind while, speed painting. I had wanted to make this series for quite a while, since I had the idea of also doing speed paints while making a commentary on anything that was boggling my mind. And, well, here I am with my first episode at last. And it feels wonderful to finally go out my way to make this very first episode be about a certain nasty pirate captain. To start this series, we're going to delve into Cookie Run's bad boy, Pirate Cookie. For those who may not know what Cookie Run is a mobile game created by a South Korean company called Dev Sisters. In the game, you play as little gingerbread cookies as you make an attempt to run away from the wicked witch who wants to gobble you up. There are tons of characters to collect, if not a plethora of them, and their abilities make them stand out, including their backstory. Pirate Cookie happens to be one of the cookies, and he is a pirate captain with the ability to shoot bombs and create ghost coins, and also become a ghost himself when out of energy, though he cannot collect life potions to save himself for the rest of the run. He's not fully known, as he's used for coin farming and is pretty much somewhat useful for lands 1 to 3. The reason why I wanted to talk about Pirate Cookie is, well, for a few reasons. Firstly, I saw Pirate standing out as one of the few cookies to have the most lore out of all of them. Sure, I didn't see it at first, but after a couple days of digging and reading, I think I grew to love the fellow Scourge. Secondly, there is a lot of info on Pirate people tend to ignore that I feel that should be brought to light. There are tons of implications that people don't see, and it's about time I talk of those implications. And thirdly, I just really like Pirate, okay? He should have won Cookie of the Year, and it was unfair that he went against Popping Candy Cookie. Pirate needs more love, okay? Don't judge me. Another thing before we go on, I just want to give a heads up that this does contain spoilers for the previous events on Cookie Run and a more recent one. And it also contains some pretty serious topics in the long run. If you don't want to get spoiled, I would recommend clicking away. By proceeding on, you pretty much have followed up on all the events. Also, you don't have to fully agree with me on certain theories. Besides, Dev Sister stated that the lore is really up for interpretation, so we can pretty much interpret the theories on Pirate Cookie in any way we like it. Anyway, are you ready to hear about the Pirate Captain? Let's get on with it. It's about time we prepare our sails and keep an eye out for any storms, because we're about to sail into the Pirate Cookie Theory. To begin, I feel like we should talk about the focal and biggest implication I've done research on. One of the legendaries being Pirate's mother. If any of you knew me, I have been doing research left and right when I realized that it's possible there is a strong connection between two cookies when I was creating an AO on Pirate Cookie. I don't know about you guys, but I think Pirate's mother is a legendary. That legendary is Moonlight Cookie. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Asher, what is that supposed to mean? Moonlight and Pirate Cookie have different abilities, plus we don't know about their relationship. Pirate never even went to the City of Wizards before, and etc. Before you go bonkers in the comment section, I want you to bear with me here. This was something that I denied as well, but upon further inspection, I think it can be self-explanatory with a bit of information people tend to miss. Let's talk about the treasure stamp. I know, well, there are other cookies who dislike the treasure stamp, such as Roquefort and Chestnut and the others too, but they're not the main focus, mainly since there are a bit of justified reasons as to why they dislike the item, such as Roquefort disliking it because they prefer jewels, and Chestnut only disliking it because they have no idea what to do with the item. The reason why Moonlight and Pirate Cookie's reaction when given the item stand out is because we don't know the full reason. For Moonlight, when given the item, she shows a saddened expression and says, "I must decline." Meanwhile, Pirate likes said item and takes it greedily, asking the user that it wasn't hard to find it, wasn't it? The item itself is unique because it seems to show their beliefs on one thing, value. When you go interact with Moonlight, one of her quotes is, "A treasure is always worth something. What's your treasure?" Meanwhile, Pirate is basically shown to be greedy compared to her, to where he doesn't even care about the kindness of one's words, as he says, "Give treasures, not words. Kaha!" The item in the quotes pretty much seem to show that something must have happened between Pirate and Moonlight that made Moonlight grow to strongly distaste the item in of itself. To further prove that something happened between them, I feel we should definitely point out Pirate and Moonlight's ingredients for their magic candies. Pirate has the old treasure map, an ingredient used for his magic candy. Meanwhile, Moonlight Cookie has the little star and the lifeless little star. If you were to look closely at Pirate's main ingredient, you can notice that there are several X marks in different locations. We don't fully know the exact locations, but in my perspective, it actually reminisces to that of the live version of Cookie Run and the episode map that showed all of the locations at the time before its discontinuation. If you compare Pirate's ingredient to the old Cookie Run map, you can realize that the location looks exactly the same, and the 3 X marks are located in different areas. The first X starts on the bottom right, somewhere far away. Then on the next X, it leads to a strange location at the City of Wizards. Then we go to the last X where it stops at the Island of Coins, or to make better sense in terms of Oven Break, Treasure Island. Sure, the Lion version is not fully related to Oven Break, at least ever since Lion Cookie Run was discontinued, but it's so strange how Pirate Cookie owns this mysterious map. This can further prove that something did happen when he was at the City of Wizards, and knowing Pirate's love for treasures, he might have wanted something Moonlight had. If you took a look at the description of the lifeless little star, its description reads, "The light in this star has almost faded." For the little star, it says in part, "Why are you so lonely, little star? Let me sing you a moon lullaby for sweet and happy dreams." The little star's description is Moonlight Cookie saying this as if she's trying to lull a saddened child back to sleep. From what we know so far, the fact that the ingredient used to make the little star from Moonlight's magic candy is lifeless and faded, and how it connects with Pirate's ingredient that I mentioned and its reflection of a pirate's adamant will, it's as if Pirate, deep down, was really hurting. Added with the fact that Pirate shows any niceness to the other cookies. Also, if you were to go reach 1,000 affection points, or AP, for Pirate Cookie, you'll get the Pirate Cookie Jelly, where its description reads, "Pirate Cookie hates the idea of sailing Nightsea ever again." In the breakout episode, Escape from the Oven, Nightsea is known to be one of the levels that appears in Chapter 2. In one of the special episodes, Black Sugar Pirate Ship, we know a few things about Pirate Cookie's lore so far. He was out having an adventure and looking for treasures. Then soon, on a stormy night, a kraken attacks, and the whole ship is destroyed alongside him and his crewmates, causing all of them to become ghosts. For one of Moonlight's quotes, she says, "Time stops and only silence remains." In context of her quote, it refers to sleep, as to where when you're asleep, time passes by quickly and it's completely non-existent when entering a dreaming state. This context can also refer to Pirate Cookie's death, as to where after a vicious ship attack, he was prone to have blacked out and died later on. Now that leads to the next question. What really happened to Pirate, and how did Pirate find a way to become a ghost? Some people say that it was because of Squid Ink Cookie, but I feel it's not really true. If we look at Squid Ink Cookie, we can see that Squid Ink has no recollection of that happening, as they cry out that they don't remember anything and questions why Pirate Cookie is enraged at them. Sure, you may tell me that their description and Salt's relationship with Squid Ink proves otherwise, but here's the thing. For their description, it said they are only theorized to be the one who attacked the ship. And that's why Salt is questioning Squid Ink and has tension with them. Squid Ink seems to be crying out that they didn't do it, that they didn't attack Pirate Cookie's ship. And that made me think, if Squid Ink didn't do it, then who really did it? Then it dawned upon me that the only cookie who would have killed Pirate Cookie was someone who knew of Moonlight. You guessed it. It was Sea Fairy who killed Pirate Cookie. How do I know this? If you recall my previous statements, I talked about Nightsea and Pirate Cookie's signature ingredient for his magic candy. I stated that Nightsea appears in Chapter 2 and is the final stage before reaching to Chapter 3 of Escape from the Oven. Chapter 2 is mostly correlated to Seafaring, including the later stages where it becomes more ocean-themed. Guess who also went to Night Sea? Pirate Cookie. And knowing that one of the X's is located on the bottom right, I feel it shows that Pirate Cookie had gone to the Night Sea and was making an attempt to reach the Tower of Frozen Waves. That very X mark that Pirate had placed must have been near Night Sea and where the sea monster attacked Pirate Cookie's ship. To make matters more evident, the Sugarteara episode shows what appears to be a kraken glowing in the dark, added with the fact that the Seafaring Cookie can control the sea at will. This seems to be strongly more evident when in the Tower of Frozen Waves, Pirate brags to the crew about his quest to find a treasure in the Tower of Frozen Waves, with Deckhand Krabby admiring his intelligence and knowing about the place. How he seems to question why the door suddenly opened for him before shrugging it off, and how he says before the player enters hard mode that the Tower of Frozen Waves isn't what it used to be. That can leave us wondering, was he really there for the treasures? Or was he lying through his pure white teeth? And that leads directly to the question of what exactly happened to Pirate Cookie and why is he able to become a ghost? His ghostly ability, his intelligence on certain places, the destruction of his ship, how he has a ghostly crew, this all seems to connect to one person who could have granted him that power. Dark Enchantress Cookie. I remember looking at the new event involving Chess Choco Cookie and Earl Grey Cookie. Chess Choco Cookie is a new cookie that behaves very hive-mindishly. They're both pawn cookies, pretty much similar to that of siblings. One pawn cookie says one thing before the other says it. However, the one thing I took strong note of was the eyes, alongside the event having use of red diamonds. The same signature diamond that symbolizes Dark Enchantress Cookie. Also, a new update regarding that statement. I just found out that Chess Choco are associated with Dark Enchantress Cookie because they were out in the streets and they're possibly dead kids because, like, no cookie has those empty eyes compared to Pirate. So I think at this point, my theory on this is actually becoming more relevant. Pirate Cookie might be the minion of Dark Enchantress Cookie, so. If Chess Choco Cookie has empty eyes for both the pawns, so does Pirate. And no, this doesn't include Milk Cookie or Gumball Cookie or any of the cookies on those lines, as they don't fully have the curriculum of being the henchman of Dark Enchantress Cookie, which is exactly what Pirate Cookie is. How do I know this? Firstly, it's Pirate's ability to become a ghost and the sight of the ghostly crew. When it comes to ghosts, it's often known to be affiliated with good or evil, depending on the kind of ghost. In some cases, there are ghosts who tend to be corrupted, whether it be corrupting themselves or it be an evil presence corrupting them. The fact that Pirate Cookie can become a ghost, summon the ghostly pirate ship and ghostly crewmates, it all falls exactly to black magic. Added with the magic candy ingredients, how the black sugar jellies are said to be as dark as the night, and including Pirate's hook being a candy cane similar to Dark Enchantress's staff also being a candy cane, and the black and white eyes like the other half of Chess Choco Cookie, and it all starts to make sense. Pirate Cookie became a ghost and has ghostly abilities because of Dark Enchantress Cookie. So it now begs the question, what about Captain Ice Cookie? Salt Cookie? Sorbet Shark Cookie! Do any of you guys remember the Tower of Frozen Waves event? Do you remember when Captain Ice was released and Salt Cookie had a very ghostly costume at the time? As I played the Tower of Frozen Waves event, I began to take note of something that peeked in my head. Captain Ice's relationship with Pirate reads, "We may have sailed under the same colors once, but I will apprehend you." Pirate also mentions in the Tower of Frozen Waves story arc how he isn't a Navy cookie. Some of you may say that they might have known each other when they were young and also because of how Captain Ice knows of ice candy, but I might have to disagree. The reason why Captain Ice also plays a focal role in this theory because she herself might be a child to the legendary Sea Fairy. Sure, she was unaware of the legendaries at the time, but it might be because she's oblivious to the realization. The good evidence for this is how Captain Ice has never melting ice in her dough compared to Sea Fairy whose art was never frozen. Captain Ice and Sea Fairy share the ability to turn things into ice, but for Captain Ice, she turns anything into ice at will, as from what we saw with her ship, and Sea Fairy only turns into ice when her heart is grieving. Even Captain Ice, when she's in her costume, states that the cold air reminds her of home, so it could refer to her hometown, or better yet, the sea. Could be both, as Captain Ice also states the sea is her home and her final resting place. How Captain Ice was still able to not become frozen despite her ingredients is beyond us, but it makes things clear that she might be much older than one can think of. Captain Ice is also cursed, and from the looks of it, she might have lived longer than Pirate Cookie. And yeah, I understand the Sea Overlord outfit Pirate has, but it's very irrelevant as it could be just Pirate having upgraded his ship and now he's out and plundering everything for those treasures. Like he wish like right. I also feel with that in mind, Salt Cookie should be added in as well. Salt's Cookie makes it evidently clear he worked for Pirate at one point, especially since in Captain Ice's trial we see pirates wearing striped clothing, just like Salt's costume. Not to mention his harpoon. He may look all blue because of his appearance excluding the shirt, but keep in mind it's because he's dead, and the weapon is only blue compared to the original Salt's harpoon. We don't know exactly how he came to be, but I know full well Salt worked for Pirate with the thought that he can catch the kingfish, as implied by the quotes. From that statement alone, he must have been a former crewmate of Captain Ice at one point. And then we get to the last cookie Pirate knows of, his little shark friend. Are you guys ready for the last pieces of evidence? If not, sorry, we're already in the deepest waters and there might be a kraken. As many of us cookie runners know, Pirate Cookie happens to have a crewmate named Sorbet Shark Cookie. Don't let their cuddly appearance fool you. They're also a merce shark whenever they plunge into the water, and they're super fast when in set form. The reason why I wanted to talk about Sorbet Shark is because both Pirate Cookie and Sorbet Shark share one common thing: the ability to collect black sugar pirate coins. Both of them share the exact same magnetic ability, as from what I saw when I played Sorbet Shark's trial. I didn't gain much suspicion until I rewatched the story of the Tower of Frozen Waves and the Sugarteara story. Somehow I took note of how Pirate was still capable of speaking to them properly, even when they only spoke in bubbles. It could be possible that with these two pieces of evidence, Pirate might have had a family member in his bloodline who was also a merce shark. Even if he is simply able to speak bubbles, it feels obvious that this ability to communicate to those who speak in bubbles without the need for any item might derive from an ancestor. Seeing all this evidence we have, I think I know the true tale of Pirate Cookie. At least my interpretation with the evidence I have. Long ago, one of Pirate's family members in his family tree was originally a merce shark. That same merce shark decided to become a cookie, and in the long run of the bloodline, they married a cookie and had a cookie merce shark child, and that same merce shark child went to marry another cookie, and it repeated and repeated, all while the merce shark traits dwindled and faded, and it would eventually lead to one cookie in the bloodline marrying Moonlight and having Pirate Cookie. Pirate Cookie was supposed to be her heir to the throne, but for an unknown reason, she left him under the new caretaker, Captain Ice. Captain Ice and Pirate Cookie were on good terms until soon enough, as Pirate got older, he grew tired of the Navy, as did Salt, so the two formed a special deal and started a mutiny and fled alongside the other crewmates to join the life of piracy. Years would pass, and pirates would start to plan against Moonlight Cookie, and soon the invasion of the City of Wizards happened, leading Pirate to steal any treasures Moonlight had in her possession. Pirate was going to make it to the third destination, but Sea Fairy stopped him and summoned a deadly sea monster, killing him in the process. Dark Enchantress Cookie assists him and curses him with the ability to turn into a ghost, and he was able to get everyone out alive except for Salt. Not much was known as to what happened to Salt, but he eventually got revived and grew with the mindset that the seas had no need for pirates. In the long run, Pirate met Sorbet Shark Cookie, who would eventually become his new crewmate. At one point, Pirate was partying and he fell off his ship, leading Sorbet Shark Cookie to rescue him, but risking Pirate losing his leg in the process, causing him to show resentment along with his tension with Squid and Cookie. Later on, Pirate Cookie would eventually plot a revenge against Sea Fairy by going into the Tower of Frozen Waves and snatch the treasures and probably get to Sea Fairy's treasures, The plan backfires, but upon seeing the Tower of Frozen Waves about to be destroyed, he joins forces with Captain Nice, all while Sorbet Shark and Peppermint unravel Sugarteara. After the Tower of Frozen Waves is saved, Pirate Cookie and Sorbet Shark take off. Pirate hides its true colors through treasure hunting because he knows that collecting anything that has value. He isolated himself from the Cookie Kingdom because he knows that he's infamous for his crimes that cannot be reversed. If he continues this pattern, he might isolate himself from his own crewmates, all with the mindset that his actions were justified. Pirate Cookie is forever doomed to be cursed thanks to Dark Enchantress, and by the looks of things, he's doomed to be the lifeless little star. Forever. But hey, that's just a theory, a cookie run oven theory. As I said, Dev Sisters told us the game can be really up for interpretation, so I understand if you don't fully agree with me on this. You can depict Pirate Cookie's lore in any way you want to, and that's fine. I just saw his lore as something dark, and as of this recording, I think I got the shivers. But anyway, if you liked this episode, comment below and tell me on what you think. I could definitely use some feedback on my first episode. Next time, I'm gonna be talking about a dark sorceress and her possible child. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you around, my little ribbons. Mwah!